Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing Hachzeg's learning of the Pele Yoetz. Today is day 78. We're in this beautiful, very meaningful chapter called Chamiv v'Chamoisai, one's father-in-law and mother-in-law, how we treat them, and to do it with the proper respect and the like. All the jokes, the outlaws, the in-laws, terrible jokes about mother-in-laws and the like, it's not the way says the Pele Yoetz. We have to be even more particular to encourage our wives to make sure that they give the proper honor and respect to their in-laws. It says in Tanit Be'elio, honor your father and your mother. And next to that, or close to that, in the Yisera Sedibras, it says, do not commit adultery. So what does one have to do with the other? Honor your parents and don't commit adultery. Chazal is coming to teach you. If a man marries a woman and she does not honor his parents, her in-laws at the time of their old age, when they really need her to the most, because they're now maybe as they get older, they're not capable of taking care of themselves properly. It's as if this man, this husband, this child over here of his parents, was a naif, he was an adulterer all of the days of his life. Why? Because he married a woman that he never should have, because she doesn't show his parents the proper honor and respect that they are deserving of. And therefore it's as if he was living with a woman that's not his wife. That's why it says, honor one's parents, which means she should honor his parents, and don't commit adultery. A person has to think how much effort one's parents put into raising them, and the tsar gidul banim, the pain of child rearing that they had to go through. Until finally the son is ready to get married. And the parents are like, whoa, we're going to marry him off to a wonderful girl, wonderful mishpacha, and they're going to have a happy life together. And we, the parents, we're going to have nachas, and we'll be able to enjoy them in our old age. But after all is said and done, you have a daughter-in-law that rises up against her mother-in-law. She increases the arguments and the fighting that goes on in the house. There's now contention in the house because of this daughter-in-law that they were dreaming of is going to be the angel that was sent to them. No, she's an angel of death that they brought into the house. And then what happens? If the daughter-in-law and her in-laws start fighting with each other, the son gets dragged into it, who's the husband over here, gets dragged in. He starts fighting with his parents. Because the way of a husband is he follows his wife. His wife is getting upset with his mother. His wife's getting upset with the father. And she's in a fight with them. So who's he going to defend? His parents? He ends up defending his wife. And therefore he starts fighting with his own parents. And he quotes a pasuk in Mishlei, a contentious woman is like the troublesome dripping. There's that drip, that incessant drip that never stops. And it bothers a person. So too a contentious wife who's starting up with her in-laws, she's just like that incessant drip, and she's driving her husband mad. And in the end, the sons are going to end up leaving the table of their parents. So that's what's going to happen. So the daughter-in-law who started a fight with her in-laws, her husband now comes along with her. He now leaves and abandons his parents. And the brothers of that husband, who are fine to sit at the table of their parents, so they don't want to get schlepped into this machlekes, into this argument. The parents say, you know what they did? And the brothers say, you know what she did? So therefore, what do? They also abandon the parents and leave them by themselves. And it turns out that the father and the mother, who are now sitting all by themselves, the pasuk, like it says in Yirmiyahu, will be fulfilled by them. We are hoping for peace, but there's no good. Uleis marpe, at the time that there should be healing, v'hine ba'asa, there's only terror. So that means we got old. We're hoping that we're going to be taken care of by our children and the like, and now everybody's abandoned us. Va'isha, he says, Avoina, such a woman will bear her sin. There's Avoin violence, she's going to have to bear the sin of her husband as well. She schlepped him into this machlekes over here. V'ra toiva aleya, and terrible things will befall her. Umara tiyala ba'achron, she'll have a very bitter end. What's going to happen, says the Pele Yoetz, kasha asasa, just like she did to her in-laws, kain yasu like haloiseha. The same thing will happen there from her daughter-in-laws. She ruined her mother-in-law's life. She began a machlekes. She pulled her husband away from her mother, from his mother. She will see the midah keneged midah, says the Pele Yoetz. She's going to get the same thing back. Her son, she'll get married. She has a son who's going to get married. He's going to have a wife. She's going to think, ooh, this wife, she's amazing. She's going to be my best friend in the world. No, she's going to drive this woman mad. Milvad ansha shama lo, besides the punishments that will be awaiting this woman in the world to come for all the pain that she caused her in-laws, she's going to get a double punishment over here that her own daughter-in-law will do the same thing to her. However, the Isha Yiras Hashem Mintis Alel, the woman who fears Hashem, that is the one that is most praiseworthy. Says the Pele Yoetz, a chiddush over here, and that is that a woman who fears Hashem, she should honor her in-laws even more than her own husband. Kemelech u'malka, she should treat them like a king and a queen. Her whole goal should be to make them happy, to achieve their will and find favor. Do whatever they want. Don't do anything, whether big or small, without their permission. Now, this is a tall order, because we live in such an independent world where everybody is always wants to be to themselves and do their own thing, and they don't want anyone telling them what to do. Says the Pele Yoetz, the true sign of greatness of a daughter-in-law, of a son-in-law, the humility, the self-effacing way in which they're going to live is their own in-laws, which the nature of a person is not to want to listen to them. They'll listen to them always. Of course, if the son is being supported by his parents still, even though that he's married, and your food in your pantry is coming only because of them, for sure you're obligated to honor them properly. Ella, however, even if the son is providing and supporting his parents, don't think that you have a right to be makel, to be lenient and light in the way in which you're going to honor them. Even if he is taking care of them, meaning even if the son is the one that's supporting his parents, chas v'shalom, God forbid, you think that you ever have a right to be lenient on the cover that you give to them. Even if they put a yoke on top of you. The children, the schus of taking care of their parents and having the schus of their parents will accompany them all the time, and will help them, and therefore honor them in the proper way. V'yadua ma'amer Rabbi Seinazal, we know what it says in Chazal. Sheish ma'achil es avi v'imo petumois v'yorshkenim. There are children that will feed their parents fattened geese and animals and give them big ribeye steaks, and they'll inherit Gehenna as a result of that. There are those that will just grind some flour and give them a little bit to eat, and they will inherit the world to come. Because it all depends on how nice you are when you're feeding them, how kind, how smiling, how warm, how loving, how honorable you are to them. You can give them all the money and all the things in the world, but if you're mean to them, you're going to get Gehenna. You could have no resource and give them a little bit, but you do it with such a smile and such a simcha and such a joy, you're going to get Gan Eden. And even if, when they get older, they're very difficult people to deal with, they're grumpy and grouchy and screaming and yelling and obstinate and all the like, and hard to take care of them. Even still, you have a mitzvah to be mechabed them, to honor them properly. V'ish Hashem daitonim, v'yiras Hashem abaneim, a husband and a wife who are thinking people, knowledgeable people with yiras Hashem, the fear of Hashem on their face. Oh, yizbalu v'la, they will bear the yoke and this burden, and they will not get upset. V'liyatrisu kenegdam chasron, they will never fight against the in-laws. V'yaguru lahem miyoyim adin, they'll always be afraid what's going to be in the day of judgment when it comes. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu begins questioning, why did you treat your father-in-law like this? Why did you treat your mother-in-law like this? Why did you do that? Ki Elokim yovi b'mishpat al kol dibor v'ra. Hashem is going to bring a person to judgment for every bad word that they said. V'al kol min zil, any shame or embarrassment they gave to the in-laws, they're going to be held accountable. However, the one that honors will be honored, and his reward is going to be double, according to the amount of effort that you expend. That will be the reward, and therefore, treat your in-laws nicely and kindly in the right way, says the Pele Yoetz. The reward will be endless, enormous, and eternal. All the best.